impure. So he said that that's why I came through this way. So he shows how a devotee means etiquette, how a devotee should follow. A devotee should follow. So and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu becomes very pleased, and then that time he embraces Sanatana Goswami, and then all the blisters and everything goes away from his body, and he becomes again healthy. And then after 1 year staying with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he again goes back to Vrindavan, and totally he stays 43 years in Vrindavan, finding the new place, means renovating the forgotten places of Krishna and like that. So once while he was meditating about Krishna, and he sees some boys in Mahavan near Yamuna, some boys are playing, and he sees one boy is especially very attractive. So when at night when he goes to sleep, he sees in his dream the Lord come, and he tells that I am Madan Mohana deity and I want to stay with you in your hut. So Sanatana Goswami next day morning when he goes out to find the deity, he sees Madan Mohana deity, and he takes it to Dwadashaditya Tila, that hill, and the same deity was worshipped by Advaitacharya in the same hill, Dwadashaditya Tila hill, and it was worshipped by Advaitacharya. So Sanatana Goswami also takes Madan Mohan deity there, and because he was doing Madhukari every day, he didn't have so many preparations. He used to just give some dry chapatis without even salt. So once Madan Mohan deity, Madan Mohan asked him that every day you are giving the same thing, at least you can put some salt. So being on the transcendental level, Sanatana Goswami says that one day you will ask salt and next day you will ask sweet, and like that you will go on. So this much only I have, so I can give you this much only. So if you want, you can arrange for yourself. So the Madan Mohan deity, he arranges for himself a big temple, and he makes a merchant called Krishnadas, I think, and he comes to that place. He comes to Mathura. He wanted to sell his goods in Mathura, and in the Yamuna river his boat gets stuck. So he comes to this Dwadashaditya hill, and he asks Sanatana Goswami help. So Sanatana Goswami says that you pray to Madan Mohan deity to rescue your boat. So he prays, and that same night a great storm comes, and it brings the boat to it frees the boat, and it brings it to the shore. So then after selling all his goods, this merchant brought all his profits and submitted it to Sanatana Goswami. So Sanatana Goswami says that you use this money and you build a big temple for for Madan Mohana, and you arrange for the deity worship and gorgeous worship for the Lord. So that was the first temple built for the Lord, Madan Mohan deity, and it was the most beautiful deity, and of the 7. And it was considered as the Sambandha. For Sambandha, that deity was considered prominent. So then, after in final days, Sanatana Goswami, he comes to. He stays most of his days in Madan Mohan, near Madan Mohan deity, and he worships the deity. So last final days he comes to Govardhana, and every day he used to do parikrama of Govardhana, and which is about 40 kilometers he used to do every day, and he used to pay 1008 obeisances to Govardhana every day without fail. So although he was old, he did that. So seeing his condition, the Lord himself, he comes and he tells that why are you doing this parikrama, you're already old. So he says that this is my religious duties and I will never give up my religious duties. So being pleased with him, but being the Lord was not able to see or bear the amount of suffering he's taking under. So he immediately, what he does is he takes a shila and he stands on it and he plays his flute. So hearing the flute, the stone melts and the Lord's footprint gets marked or imprinted on the stone. And then the Lord gives Sanatana Goswami the stone so that he can worship that deity. And he said that if you circumambulate this Shila, then it is equal to circumambulating Govardhana hill. So this this Shila is still there in Jiva Goswami's Radha Damodar temple. So Sanatana Goswami has written many books, and his 4 major books were Hari Bhakti Vilas, which was written under the direct instruction of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had told that to show how a devotee should behave. So he writes Hari Bhakti Vilas to show what are the do's and don'ts of a devotee. And he also writes Vaishnava Toshani, Dashama Tippani, also called Dashama Tippani, which is a commentary of Sanatana Goswami on full 10th canto. He gives elaborate commentary. And also Krishna Leela Stava, also known as Dashama Charita, which is a concise poetry or summary of the first part of the 10 cantos, means half of the 10 cantos, which only Vrindavan pastimes were concisely in a poetic manner described by Sanatana Goswami in Krishna Leela Stava. And also he writes Brihad Bhagavatamrita, which is a set of 2 stories and which is presented in 2514 verses, the essential teachings of Bhagavatam. And also it is said that Sanatana Goswami is the Sambandha Acharya, because he shows us about devotional service, and he gives us he tells about the relationship between us and the Lord. So he's considered the Sambandha Acharya of our philosophy. And Srila Prabhupada, he tells in a purport about Sanatana Goswami, he says that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to accomplish many purposes through the exegetical endeavors of Sri Sanatana Goswami. First, Sanatana Goswami compiled the book called Brihad Bhagavatamrita to teach people how to become devotees, execute devotional service, and attain love of God, love of Krishna. Second, he compiled the Hari Bhakti Vilas, wherein he collected authoritative scriptural injunctions regarding how a Vaishnava should behave. Only by the endeavors of Sri Sanatana Goswami were all the lost places of pilgrimage in Vrindavan area excavated. He established Madan Mohan, the first deity in the Vrindavan area, and by his personal behavior, he taught how one should act in the renounced order, completely devoted to the service of the Lord. By his personal example, he taught people how to stay in Vrindavan to execute devotional service. The principal mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was to preach Krishna consciousness. Mathura and Vrindavan are abodes of Lord Krishna. Therefore, these 2 places are very dear to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he wanted to develop their glories through Sanatana Goswami. So, Sanatana Goswami, he renovated those places. And also, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he had taught his principles through 4 chief followers, and among them Ramananda Rai was exceptional for through him Chaitanya Mahaprabhu shows that how a devotee can completely vanquish the power of Cupid. When Ramananda Rai was doing rehearsals for the drama, which the name was Jagannatha Vallabha Nataka, he was doing rehearsals for the drama. So at that time, he for extremely beautiful girls, he was bathing them, he was touching them, washing them. Still, he was completely free from the clutches of Maya, and he was not with any passionate feelings, and he was calm. So he was as example how a devotee could completely get free from the power of Cupid. And then the next was Damodar Pandit, and he was notable for his objectivity as a critic. So he used to criticize even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, but this cannot be imitated by anyone else. So he was second, and the third was Haridas Thakur, and he was example for his forbearance, that Even in 22 marketplaces, although being hit, he was tolerant, and he was merciful to those who met him. So he was example for forbearance. And in the last, Sanatana Goswami, although born in high family, he was actually born in Bharadwaja Gotra in Saraswata Brahmana family. So although he was born in very respectable family, still he was exceptional for his humility and meekness. So we can learn from Sanatana Goswami's life how humble he was, and how humble he was. Although he was a prime minister of Nawab, or he was very great scholar in all Vedic literatures, still he was very humble. And Sanatana Goswami, although he was very loving to all villagers also, that it is said in Bhakti Ratnakara that Sanatana Goswami, when he used to go to a village, all old women, old people and young people, everyone used to come to him, and they used to bring him or welcome him to the village, and they used to tell him that they used to have a brotherly feeling, and they used to tell him that you forgot us, why were you so cruel with us, like that they used to tell him. So he used to pacify them, and whatever fight they had with them, they used to complain it to Sanatana Goswami, and Sanatana Goswami used to tell some solution, and that was the final. All villagers accepted it, and when he used to leave, everyone used to cry, and then Sanatana Goswami had to send them back. So he had, because he was without any enemies, so everyone were attracted to him. So so we can, from his life, we can understand that how a devotee should live, and what are the etiquettes a devotee should follow. So he left this world on 1558, year 1558, and he also he always, their mood was to in a Vipralamba Bhav, where as we can see, Narahari Sarkar, he says in Shad Goswami Ashtaka that He Radhe Vraja Devaki Chalalite He Nanda Sono Kota. So in that song we can see how they are always trying to search for, always searching for Krishna. So that was the bhava of all the Goswamis, and Sanatana Goswami also was in that mood. And so he was Sambandha Acharya, and we have to pray to him so that we can be fixed in the devotional service, and we can also develop humility like him. Because humility, without humility we can't even, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, that Trinadapi Sunichena Tarorapi Saishnana Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari, that we have to be humble so that we can chant the Mahamantra or the Hare Krishna, the names of the Lord. So by his mercy we can be humble. And in one purport in Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada says that by humility and meekness we can attain to the kingdom of God. So we have to be humble and submissively understand the scriptures. Also in the introduction to Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada says that without being submissive, we can't understand Bhagavad Gita or any scriptures. And we have, or the instructions of the spiritual master, we have to humbly surrender to the spiritual master, so we can ask him to give us that humility, and so that we can serve Guru and Krishna, and we can know him and have faith in Guru Krishna. Hare Krishna. Any questions or comments? श्रीमद सनातन गोस्वामी की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय.